Morning girls. So this is going to be your wedding makeup tutorial for my wedding. Now I need to make sure that you do it well, so you need to start off prepping your skin. So you need to make sure it's all moisturized, face and neck. Make sure you've cleaned all around your eyes and that you're ready to go. So the first thing that I usually do is I do my eyebrows. I know most of you do your eyebrows anyway, so they shouldn't be too difficult for you. So I usually start with a pencil. I use this W7 Twist and Shape brow pencil in blonde. So I usually just put a line on the very bottom of my eyebrow first, like so. So just all the way under. Like that, and then I just brush it up through the brow to begin with. Now for you darker girls, it's much easier to get a natural brow because they look good anyway, but when you don't have many eyebrow hairs, it's a bit harder. So for you, Lisa, make sure you put some eyebrow pencil in there. So now I'm just stroking it up through the hairs to build it up a little bit. That's better. So now I fill in, yeah, see the difference? Now I'm going to fill in a little bit more with my brow powder with a little angled brush. Okay, so again, just round the edges where you have a few gaps. It's fine. Better already. Right, next I carve the eyebrows. So I don't know if you normally do this, but it makes them look really, really neat. So I use an angled flat brush and then some concealer, and then I'm just going to put some onto the brush and then go around the edge of the eyebrows. And then you will see what a difference this makes. So I usually do the under edge first. Up under the arch, all over the top, as you can see, this needs to be blended. So on the bottom I just pull it down, just blend it down. And then I also do this on the top as well. So I blend it up. You just don't want any harsh lines. There. And then often at the centre of my eyebrow I do a little fade. So I literally just pop the remaining concealer through the front of the eyebrow. And it just makes it look a bit less harsh. Like so. I'm just going to neaten up the front bit just here. we go. One perfect eyebrow. Brows done. So next step is your primer, just to make sure that it's all set in before we start with any foundation. So you can use whatever you want. I'm using the W7 Princess Potion. So it's in a pipette, so I literally just apply this all over. This is a really hydrating primer, so if either of you or any of you are feeling particularly shiny or greasy at the moment, you're going to want a less hydrating primer, and maybe something a little bit more for pore minimization. So if you just rub this in all over, minding those eyebrows. We are now going to go onto your eyes while this dries. Plus, we don't want to do a perfect base and then ruin it, do we girls, by dripping eyeshadow on it and then getting cross. No. So, eyes. So you need to start off with your eyeshadow primer. So you put that on. You don't need to be precise. Just make sure you've got some on, because it makes your eyeshadow last all day, and we don't want you sweating it off on the dance floor, do we? No. Okay. Eyeshadow primer done. So now what you need to do is you need to decide what sort of colours you're going to wear. I am going to be wearing nudes on the day, so I'm going to use this W7 Lightly Coasted palette, which is lovely. It's got loads of really nice nudes. And I know Lisa has this palette, don't you? So you can check this out. So I'm going to start with the lightest colour as the base and just put it all over my eyelids. Easy. So just put your brush in, tap it off, and apply this base colour all over your eyelids. This is very easy. Now this just makes sure you have an even base to work from, and it's a nice base for the rest of the colours to blend onto. There you go. Right up to the brow. All over. Perfect. Now, hopefully one of you has a brush that looks like this. So this is really good for working the shadow into the crease and making it look really neat. So now I'm going to go into the two matte browns. So this one and this one. So you're just going to go into both colours with this brush, and then tap off the excess, and then we're going to work this into the crease. So to find your crease, girls, literally it's just this section of your eye that kind of goes back, where you have a little crease, goes back around your eyeball. Hard to miss. Tap off, then you need to just start applying it very lightly. Don't be heavy-handed. Literally just work it in like so. I'm just going to grab this small mirror so I can see a little better. Make sure it's blending in for you girls. Perfect. Now I'm going to catch a bit more of those same shadows. And working them into your crease, like so. Just a really nice wash of colour, nothing too dark. The tapping off helps it be like a real nice wash and not dark where you don't want it. So just blend it quite high all the way around. And you can wing it up very slightly. Don't put any more shadow on to do that, just use the excess. Perfect. Crease shadowed. Now, if you want to go darker, that's fine, just be careful. So I would usually go into, so we've used these two. I'd probably go in and use a little bit of this one. And maybe the one next door if you feel like it, but I think I'm just going to go for this one. It's probably safer if you stick with that one. So again, probably brush in there, get some on the brush, tap off the excess, then work it into the crease. Now that does make it go darker straight away, which is fine, so just keep blending, 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 so there's no dark bits. It wants to look the same. Perfect. Now you are gonna, well, you don't have to, you could leave it like this if you wanted to. We're gonna put some metallic gold on the bottom portion of the eyelid. So I usually just grab like a flat shadow brush like this, spray it with some setting spray, and then from the same palette, to make it easy, we're going to use this gold here. So because the brush is wet, it picks up the shadow nice and full on because it's a bit of a foil. Then we're just going to apply that to the bottom portion of the eyelid. So if you just pat it on in the middle and over to the inner corner, and then we're almost going to do like a semicircle. So if I show you the outline, we're going to go up, filling down, that sort of line, so like a semicircle on your eyelid. So once you have that on, just make sure you fill it all in, that there's no gaps. Perfect. Now you just want to make sure that you blended those two together. So you want to get the brush that you use for the brown and just go over your crease so you can blend it together. Perfect. Now if you're doing liquid eyeliner, you want to do it now. So we've finished our eyeshadow, apart from our highlighting our brow bone, which we'll do last. Yes, if you're going to use liquid eyeliner, apply it now. So just use whatever liquid liner you find easiest using. If you don't want to apply any, just don't do it. It's completely up to you. It's not easy to do, but if you can do it, do it. So I will show you how I do it. All you need to do is copy. So we just want a nice, fine, neat, thin line on the bottom of the eyelid, right down by the lash line. You know what you need. So I always start in the middle, really, go along to the inner corner. I have run out of my favourite eyeliner. It's coming for the wedding, don't worry, but I find this cheap one very, very difficult to use, so just bear with me. Then I come to the outer corner. I'm just going to neaten the rest of the eye that I've done. And now we're going to do the wing. So just draw the eyeliner out from where you've gone on an angle slightly upwards. We're going to clean it up after, so don't worry. Doesn't matter if you get it too long. Doesn't matter, it's really not very neat because I'm going to teach you how to cut it off, make it shorter, make it longer. I'll teach you what to do in a minute, so just do this. Okay, so when you think you have what you want, we're going to sharpen it up. So we're going to use that same flat angle brush that we use for your brows. Again, you're going to dip it in some concealer, and then you're going to sharpen up the line. So you just go underneath, really close. And then you get a very sharp wing. Again, like you did with your eyebrows, just bring that concealer down. Just going to add a tiny bit more liner. And then I'm just going to clean it up. There we go. Clean liner. I'm going to quickly do the other eye. Eyeliner done. So now we're going to start with your face. Base. Primer has sunk in. This is super important. We want to look flawless. So, Harriet, Harris, if you're feeling like your forehead is a little dry or your whole face is a little bit dehydrated like it sometimes is, you might want to mix your foundation with some moisturizer, or if you've got some face oil or like hydrating primer, it'll just make it sit much better. Harriet Bowyer, if you're feeling a little greasy or like you're going to be oily, then you don't want to do this. So only those of you that are a bit more dehydrated want to do this. I do it all the time because my skin is dehydrated, but if you're going to be oily, no. So I am going to put some of a foundation. This is a Touche Eclat foundation on my hand. You want a bit more than normal for today. Then I am going to mix it with something else. I just like mixing foundation. I really want my Revlon Colour Stay, but I have left it in another bag. So I'm going to use I've got some more YSL, it's just a slightly different texture. So I'm going to mix a drop of that in with it, so you can see the two different ones there. And then I'm going to be using, as always, my Decleor oil to mix in with it to make sure that it's not going to be dry. So I just mix that in. And now and dot it all over. I still might need some more, but we'll see. You know how much you put on when you're doing full coverage. I'm now going to buff this in with my buffing brush. So just buff it in really gently. Make sure you do a tiny bit on your ears so it flows. Make sure you bring it down your neck. We're going to do that in a minute. On the other ear. Hope you're all excited about today. I'm feeling calm at the moment-ish. We are Wednesday, a week and a few days beforehand. All is chilled. Okay. Looking good. We are now going to do some concealer. So just apply this underneath your eyes in a triangle shape. Apply this much. I'm sure we'll have had a bit of wine last night. We may be tired. Same on the other eye. Perfect. Now, you also want to apply some down the centre of the nose. This helps for extra coverage and it highlights. A little on the chin, a little here, and an upside down triangle on the forehead. Perfect. Now you want to get your beauty blender, Tatiana, your egg sponge. Now I've forgotten to make this damp, so I'm going to have to be super lazy and spray setting spray on it, but you girls, you need to make sure you give these a wash and make sure they're nice and damp, ready to blend in. Okay, so now we are going to blend. So by dabbing, just blend everything in so that you can't see any more product. So when all your concealer is blended in perfectly, we're going to bake it. So you want to make sure that you've got some nice translucent, not dark, translucent see-through loose powder. So you're going to pick it up with your beauty blender. So you need your beauty blender and your loose powder. I'm presuming you're going to have your dressing gowns on because this can be hazardous. It can be messy. So don't get it near anything that you want to keep neat. So I'm holding this eyeshadow palette underneath my eye so don't get it all over me. So you want to pack the loose powder on your sponge. Then you want to apply it underneath your eye, like so. Really pack it on. So this helps set your concealer and it also helps your makeup stay on much longer than it would if you just slapped it on. Okay. Do the end of your nose as well. Your chin. And I do my forehead. And today, I'm going to do round my jaw underneath where we're going to contour or bronze, because then it just makes that really stand out. Okay. Perfect. Now you need to leave this on to set while we do some other things. So now we're going to bronze. I would use a bronzing powder, ideally a matte powder. I know how some of you girls like a shimmery bronzer, but this is not what we want. We want a matte bronzer. So I usually use the W7 Honolulu bronzer because it's completely matte and it's got a nice shadowy kind of dark tone. It's not orange, so that sort of colour. Yes, I'll have this on me on the day if you need to come and get it. So using a soft brush, go into your bronzer, tap off the excess, and now we're going to just bronze around the face. So we're going to do this section here, so underneath your cheekbones, so from the top of the ear down to the mouth, but stop kind of halfway through. Light hands, lightly application, and kind of blend down. So this will give you some nice cheekbones, blend up even. So now, other side. Again, from the top of the ear down underneath the cheekbone. Nice light strokes. Blend into the hairline so it looks natural. Perfect. Now around the top of the head and into the temples. Again, you tap off your bronzer to make sure you haven't got too much on your brush. I'm just going to look in my small mirror to make sure I'm blending. Into the temples. So an easy way to explain this is if you do a figure of 3, so you can start and do it like this if you're not liking what I'm doing. So start here, come underneath, and then come under the jawline. I like to do it separately just so I can really see what I'm doing, but if you do bronze under the jawline as well, it's good for slimming. Oh, I have my eyeshadow palette on my lap. Underneath. And I do always blend a little bit down the neck as well, just to make sure that all the colour's gone down and that there's no lines. Are we done? Good. So now what you're going to do is you're going to dust off all of your baking powder. So I'm just going to hold this underneath again because I have black trousers on. So just use a nice fluffy brush and just dust off all that excess powder. If you think you might have gone overboard with the bronzer, just take this brush over the top. So now you should look like this. So now we want to add a bit more colour in the form of blush. So you can use whatever blush you like, whatever colour you like, and just apply it to those cheeks. So just smile a tiny bit and brush it onto them really lightly again, tap it off, take it up a little on the cheekbones. We're gonna use some highlighter in a minute, and sometimes this does cancel out the blush a little bit, so you might want to put a bit more on after, but we'll see how we go. So just nicely on those apples. Just gonna check in my little mirror that it's looking okay. Yeah, and then same on the other side. Perfect. Now I usually do the highlighter. So I'm going to use the W7 Glocomotion Pink It Up, but I haven't had a tan yet, as you can see. I'm very white. On the day I'm going to be using a much more goldy bronzer, and I'm sure you guys are going to be much more tanned as well than me anyway. So yeah, I'd use a gold tone one. So I'm going to apply this on the high points of my face. So we're going to do the cheekbones. So kind of going to be going over where we've gone with that blush, but a little higher. So that we get a nice sheen. Perfect. Lovely. I always apply the highlighter just to the end of my nose as well, and to my Cupid's bow. This looks good when you put your lipstick on in a bit. And then you might want to do this with your finger, but this elongates your nose just at the bridge and then down a little bit. And then I often put it on my brow bone as well, just to highlight nicely. Perfect, okay. Now you want to apply some lipstick. I'm going to tell you to start with lip liner because it's going to keep the lipstick on longer. So you just apply it around the outside of your lips, like so. Please no overlining, not on my wedding day. So literally just around the outside of your natural lips. And you can fill it down a little bit as well, because that will keep your lipstick on for longer. There. And then apply your lipstick on top. Perfect. Bring this with you to the wedding because you'll need to reapply. So the only thing we're missing now is mascara. Hello girls, different day. Didn't have time to put false eyelashes on when I was last speaking to you because I had to go to work. Now we are on Thursday, the 6th of September. So 2 days before. Slightly more anxious, but anyway, we have more important things to think about, like your makeup. So we've done everything apart from the eyelashes, really. So when I do my false eyelashes, I put mascara on anyway. So you wanna make sure you do this. So whenever I put my mascara on, I always curl my eyelashes, like so, before putting on any mascara. I then apply mascara to top and bottom lashes. You can put on as much as you want, possibly as much as you normally would, because you just want your normal eyelashes to blend into the false lash really well. Let's just put that on and then add some onto the bottom as well, however much you'd normally use. I hope using waterproof you're going to cry on me. Okay, mascara on my eye. Someone. Okay, mascara on. So you're going to grab your lash with the tweezers like this, and then you're going to apply your lash glue. So usually this comes with the eyelashes, but if you haven't got any, I've got some. So you just apply the glue to the top of the lash. And then I also apply it to the back as well, so where it's right where it's going to sit on your eyes. And it doesn't really matter how much you apply because the glue dries clear anyway. So when you have applied the glue, you just want to make sure that you just give the lash a little blow, because you almost want the lash to be a little bit tacky when the glue to be a bit tacky on the lash when it goes on your eye. So it should look like this. Okay. So get a good mirror, and now what you want to do is you want to just put the eyelash right down to the lash line, get it as close as you can and make sure it's even. So you don't want too much lash on the outer edge and too much on the inner, you want to get it right in the middle. And if your lashes, if you think they're too long widthways, just trim it from the outer edge, because you don't want to lose these short lashes in the middle, but just trim it to size, you don't want it being too big. Okay, so you just go in and drop it on and just kind of push it where you want it to go. Then where it's where you want it to go, you just need to press the lash back so that the base of the lash sinks into position at the base of your natural lash line. Okay, so said lash is on. I do just press them around for a minute or two just to make sure that they are stuck and that they're in the right position that I want them in. Lash number 1. Exactly the same with lash number 2. Start to push the lashes up so that the base slides down towards your natural lash line. This is where, if you do wear liquid eyeliner, it can make the lashes look a bit better because you are sticking it onto black. So if you make a mistake, it's not quite so obvious. Okay. Lashes on. So that instantly glams it up anyway. The next thing I always do is to finish off the eyes, I make sure I have a brush with a small end like this, and then I dip it into some really iridescent powder, really light colour, and I highlight the inner corners of my eyes. So we apply the highlighter there. You can use the highlighter that you use on your face if you like colour. Inner corners highlighted. Awesome. And then the other thing I do is I apply a white eyeliner. You obviously don't have to do this, but I just like to do it. Just freshens up your eyes and makes them look really awake and bright. So you just apply it to your waterline. All the way along. Awesome. Last thing you want to do is apply your setting spray to make sure that your makeup lasts all day. Just before that though, sometimes if I want to look slightly more evening and it is day, you can use some of the eyeshadow that we used underneath your eye. So I just get the tin out again. So again, with this one, you can go for the same two colours that we did before, or you can go darker, but just make sure you're careful. Don't put too much on. So again, brush into the colours, tap off, and apply just a soft amount underneath. The eye to give you a bit more definition. And really blend it out so you can kind of see the difference now. This eye has more, this eye has none. Let's go for a bit more. If you feel like you need to reapply your mascara after you've done this, that's fine, because the powder might coat it a little bit. Okay, so it's a little bit more on the eyes. Now, I sometimes just apply some mascara to join the two sets of lashes together, so yours and the false ones, just a tiny bit. There we go. Fab. Now, you should be wedding ready. Can't wait to see how you get on. Can't wait to see how you look when you're done. Yeah. Peace out, girls. See you on the 8th.